Does he want my girl? Does he want? Hey, does he want my girl? Does he want? Hey, does he want my girl? Does he want? Does he want? Does he want my girl? Does he want? Hey, back it up, my girl. Back it up. Hey, back it up. Sorry. Hey, how's it going? How's life? My name is Sophia. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be doing the anti-TBR tag. This tag was created by Nicole and her books. I will leave a link to her original video down below for you guys to go check out. So the first question is a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. And for this, I am going to be choosing The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. All I know is that almost everyone who has read this story has absolutely loved and adored it, and I have tried twice to read it, but both times I just couldn't get into it. So at this point, I think I've given up on The Night Circus. I might pick up, what's that other book, Starless Sea or whatever it's called? Maybe, but probably not either. The next question is a classic book or author you don't have any interest in reading. And for this, I'm going to say, I don't know if this is controversial to say or not, but I have no interest in reading classics whatsoever. In high school, I took a couple of AP Lit classes and I was forced to read classics in those. And for those of you who don't know, I'm an English major, which means in college I'm forced to read even more classics. And I don't know, something about being forced to read something, it just sucks all the fun out of it. Like I just don't have that interest in it. If I were to read classics, maybe I would pick up Lord of the Rings, but even then I'm just like, probably not. The third question is an author whose books you have no interest in reading, and for that I'm going to choose Jim Butcher. Rumor has it that homeboy loves his misogyny. Or Brent Weeks. Brent Weeks is another one. He has a lot of misogyny and fat phobia in the Lightbringer series, and I have no interest in reading that either. Oh, and then I have a third answer, and this is, I have a lot of answers. I have a third answer, and that is going to be Rick Riordan. He writes a lot of popular middle grade / younger YA, and for the longest time I wanted to read like his Percy Jackson series, but as time has passed and I've grown up, I feel like I might have outgrown the series and that I probably won't enjoy it if I read it now. And most people who like rave and gush about the series, they read it when they were younger, and so they have like nostalgia goggles on, so I don't know if I trust their reviews. The second half of this question is going to be a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading, and for that I'm going to be choosing Stephen King. He's a super popular author. I read 2 of his books. One of them I thought was mediocre, and the other one I completely hated. I DNF'd it at 50% because like I couldn't stand it. But homeboy, oh gosh, where do I start with him? Apparently Stephen King has other books where he uses the N-word, and not the N-word with a hard R. Okay, and here's the thing. If you are not a person of color, not even a person of color, if you aren't melanated to a certain degree, then there's no reason that you should be using the N-word, especially with a hard R. Like, that's racist. Using the N-word with a hard R is racist, it's inappropriate, and there's absolutely no reason for him to have done that. And like some people say he was trying to make a point in the series, and I'm just like, I don't care. That's a no-no. Don't do that. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what? Why? And then also there was like this other issue. Okay. I don't even know if I want to get into this. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about one of the most triggering authors in the industry, She Who Shall Not Be Named. So if you are sensitive to that, I will leave a timestamp on the screen where you can skip ahead in the video. But yeah, so Just Kidding Rowling wanted to be on Twitter and wanted to go on a transphobic rant and wanted to do a manifesto and all of that fuckery and foolishness. It was on Twitter where J.K. Rowling was like, I love Stephen King, I appreciate him. And under that comment, Stephen King replies, trans women are women. And everybody was just like, yes, he supports the trans community, like, bravo. I mean, I don't know why we're applauding somebody for being a decent human being, but okay, I guess. But then this man proceeds to give a positive rating to Just Kidding Rowling's transphobic book. And I'm just like, oh, so that support of the trans community was performative. Oh, okay. First you use the N-word and then you do that. No, thank you. You can keep Stephen King. I don't want him. And then my other answers are going to be Just Kidding Turfling, Stephanie Meyer, Sam Sykes, and Racist Rowell. The next prompt is an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided that their books aren't for you. And for me, that is going to be Sean David Hutchinson. I read We Are the Ants in February, and I absolutely hated that book with a burning passion. I hate, like, out of all of the books I read this year, this is probably my most hated book of this year. It's so, oh my goodness. It's like, and like when people talk about this book, they're like, oh my gosh, it's about this guy. He has to press a button to decide whether or not to end the world. Aliens, it's dope. Contemporary, it's dope. And so I was like, oh, it sounds dope. And so I read that book. I was like, ooh, this is dope. I have to get my physical TBR down. Like, let me see what this is about. I read it and it was a 1-star for me. You know when you read a book, a super popular book that gets rave reviews, and then you read that same book and you're just like, did we read the same book? Because I don't see how this got so many glowing reviews. It was literally tragedy porn. That is the best way I can describe this series, and I hate it so much. Even just thinking about it hurts me. And then apparently Sean David Hutchinson has a book that either came out or is coming out where it's like a Republican and a liberal, can they fall in love? Ooh. And I'm just like, in this economy, you want to write about that? In this economy? In Trump's economy? Okay. Do you, boo-boo. Number 5. I have issues. So the 5th prompt is a genre you are not interested in or a genre you've tried to get into and couldn't. And for me, that is going to be contemporary. Now, when I was in high school, contemporary was my jam. But then, like, as I got older, I realized that it's not really my thing. I think I've outgrown YA contemporary. A lot of the times it's the same tropes regurgitated over and over again. And even if it's a hard-hitting contemporary, I find that most oftentimes than not, it's a tragedy porn, and I'm not into that. And my main reason for this is because I read for escapism, and so when I'm reading a book, I would rather travel to a completely different world. The idea of reading a book set in the same world that I'm in Something about it just turns me off, and I have no interest in that. The next prompt is a book you bought but will never read, and I don't really have a good answer for this, simply because I tend to borrow most of my books from my library, and I don't buy books unless I've already read them or unless I'm super duper excited and I will get to it soon-ish. Like, I'm trying to keep my TBR under control. I guess I could say special editions. If I buy a special edition of a book, I never plan on reading that particular copy. But other than that, if I spend my money on it, chances are I'm gonna at least attempt to read it. If not, then I'll just get rid of it. So the 7th prompt is a series you have no interest in reading or a series you DNF'd. And for this, I'm going to choose the Folk of the Air trilogy by Holly Black. Yeah, I attempted to read Tithe by her, and literally I think I got like 40% of the way through, and I was just like, what is this? This is a no-no. And the thing about Holly Black's synopses is that her books don't speak to my soul. They don't speak to my spirit. And like, it's about Faye, and I'm just like, Faye, I'm tired of Faye. I don't need that in my life anymore. Like, give me something else. The final prompt is going to be a new release you have no interest in reading. And for this, I'm going to be choosing The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Now, I read 3 books by V.E. Schwab. The first one was A Darker Shade of Magic. I thought it was mediocre. I thought it was average. It wasn't anything special. And then I read the Song of Verity duology, which is This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet. And I also thought that that was mediocre, average, nothing too special. And the thing about Victoria Schwab is that her synopses sound amazing. And from what I've read so far, and also from what I've heard from people that I trust, is that her execution isn't the best. If I'm being completely honest, the only book from her that I would ever consider reading is Vicious. And Vicious will probably most likely be my last V.E. Schwab book that I ever decide to pick up. I had a teeth stain the entire time. Oh man. Oh god. That was my anti-TBR tag. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment down below. Let me know some of the books you guys have no interest in reading. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you soon with another video, and until then, I will see you soon. Bye.